You heard it here first, man. Morocco is going to be the
Morocco and
fourth
Ethiopia.
African team to reach the quarterfinals. If not, they'll go further. Hello, guys. Welcome back to Afro Rooted. This is Kenea Samson here with Eyu. A lot's been happening in the World Cup, and today we're going to touch upon that. So, excited to have you guys back. Eyu, how's the World Cup been, man?
It's been fire actually, better than I expected it to be. A lot has been going on, a lot of upsets, a lot of good performers. Like, I'm loving it so far. How about you?
So far it's been great, man. Especially for the African teams, I feel like they really compensated for last World Cup. Last World Cup, like everybody got knocked out in the group stages, and in this one, like every African team has at least recorded one win, and I feel like that's a win to start with. And having not one but two African teams qualify, it's just a bonus, man.
Yeah, silver lining. Definitely some big wins, like the one that we saw a couple of days ago with Cameroon beating Brazil. It's good to see some of these. Even though they're the one like day 2 or day 3 with Saudi beating Argentina. That one was a good watch too. So I know it's not Afro-rooted, but still.
A lot of upsets. With the Japan win, and a lot of dramatic endings too to the groups.
Yeah.
Even the Spain group, for example, was a crazy one. Like 1 minute you had Costa Rica and Japan going through, and the next minute,
crazy.
it's just all being decided by like literally minutes. So it's been an exciting World Cup to say the least. Yeah. Should we get started off with our teams and with a review?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
let's do it.
For sure. I think we can start off with the Group A. Host Qatar, Senegal, Netherlands, and Ecuador. What did you think about that group?
I think if you had asked me, and I wish we did some recordings before the tournament started, but if you had asked me at the beginning of the tournament, I probably would have said that Senegal makes it through this group. I think there are definitely a lot of people's dark horses, especially before Mane got injured. Probably some doubts crept in with him being out, but I think they've shown their quality. They've shown why they're like the champs of Africa, and they clearly deserve to be where they are, and hopefully to go a bit further. And especially given what happened in the last World Cup, where they got knocked out from the group stages, or they just missed out from the group stages with with like the discipline.
FIFA fair play.
It's crazy. So especially given that, I'm sure that was playing in the back of their minds, and it's really dope for them to have fought through that and made an impact on the scene. Like I think it always, for me, it was always going to come down to what it did come down to, especially following the first game with Netherlands and Qatar. I think it was pretty clear that all of the teams were like Netherlands, Ecuador, and Senegal were going to beat Qatar. It was just about can Senegal get something from Netherlands, and can Senegal beat Ecuador? And they did that in the end. So I'm proud of the team. I think they've looked really good. Something to note, obviously, is like they have a good squad on paper. So it's kind of expected for me.
Yeah. No, they do. The quality is unmatched. Like the only other African team I think that has that quality. We can compare to that is Morocco, but we'll get back. We'll come to that in a bit. But I feel like the first game also, if you see against Netherlands, they really went toe to toe with them, man. And I feel like Ismail Assar had at least 3 balls that he put inside the box, but there was no one there to finish it. And I feel like the first game, we saw that they were adapting to playing without Sadio Mane, which is a pivotal, player in their team. But I feel like in the second game and third game, we saw that they adapted and like some guys stepped up, and they scored out of the 5 goals they scored. Like they have 5 different scorers. So this shows you that the goals are spread out. Like this is a team, And that's what I think Kalidou Koulibaly also said after the Ecuador game, is that, a lot of people wrote us off once Sadio Mane got injured. But we're here to show the world that we're a team, and I think they've done just that. And next game is gonna be against England, in around the 16s, and I feel like that's something we're all looking forward to, and I think they're gonna challenge for it. I think they're gonna go for it, man.
Yeah, sorry, I think I mixed up the order of the matches. And yeah, they actually held Netherlands for a long time, especially until, I mean, they were looking good, bro. Like I thought they might have had at least a draw, and that would have definitely put them on like a good, given them a good platform to actually maybe even top the group.
Yeah.
But yeah, excited for them. England's gonna be a tough test. I think they're one of the more pragmatic teams. I think they play good tournament football. Like I know a lot of England fans, and because I listen to a lot of podcasts, I know they don't actually. It's hard to watch because with all their attacking talent, with all the Sakas and Sterlings and Mounts and Kanes, like they still, and Foden, Grealish, like they're still playing like pretty defensive football. They're not like lighting it up. They're just They get the victories and they move through, and that's probably why they're reaching so deep. And
there's a lot of criticism there with Southgate.
So it's gonna be a tough test. We're gonna need the back line of Senegal to hold strong, and especially considering England got to rest some of their players in the last game. So I mean, we'll see what happens. I think I've been impressed by all of the African teams in the group stages. So I think it's going to be interesting.
Like, for Senegal, I feel like they do have the quality, especially even in defense. Like, we have Kalidou Koulibaly, one of the best center backs. We have one of the best goalkeepers in the back as well. So, I don't feel like they have the quality to be able to, protect their goal against England.
Yeah.
But I feel like what it's going to come down to is the mental aspect of it. And I feel like experience is going to come into play. And to be honest, most of these guys do play also in Europe. So I feel like, they're not going to look at these teams like, they are extraordinary players. It's the most expensive team, probably. England is probably the most expensive team. But I feel like they're gonna go into the game confident, and whichever team goes in with it confident is gonna, I feel like take it away. And I feel like they might surprise the world, maybe not us, but Senegal might go through if they manage to score first and manage to score more than one goal.
Yeah,
I feel like if they do that, I feel like England might not know how to react to that, because they do have a lot of youngsters as well, don't forget. And I don't know, man. It's going to be a really interesting one to watch, but I will not be surprised if Senegal goes through.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to actually causing some havoc. Senegal does have the players to do that. Boulaye Dia looked pretty good. He might not be like the superstar, but he does a job. Ismail Assar has probably been probably the best player in the team for me.
A finisher, I think, is what they need, man. Like that. That's one.
Finisher.
Thing is they don't have that ace. You know what I mean? Like you got Harry Kane in England. I know he hasn't scored, but at least Harry Kane is Harry Kane. He's proven himself. But I feel like I want to see somebody like Famara Jeju play. Like I feel like there's a game where I think it was the game against the second game against Qatar, where he put in Jeju and Boulaye Dia also played together.
Yeah,
and I feel like Jeju also has a history of scoring a lot of goals for the team, like especially in the qualifiers. He was I think the top Senegalese scorer. So somebody like that can step up. So and he has experience. So it's not bad to have options, is what I'm saying, man. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it'll come down to wreaking some havoc, making the backline feel uncomfortable, being unselfish, making the runs for each other. Someone who's impressed me from the Senegalese, the team that I didn't know much about, was Sabali.
Oh yeah.
He's been dropping good performances each game. He's consistent. I think he's played 90 minutes, probably all of the games.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot.
Yeah, I think he played 90
Yeah.
minutes all 3 games.
I think
But
he plays
he's
for
like been
Real Betis, right? Like so,
yeah,
you see that shows you the quality that
yeah,
Senegal
yeah,
has.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, he's looked really good. So, if he continues to make the overlapping runs, they keep England's wingers pinned back, stuff like that. Maybe they might find some. Harry Maguire has probably been, like he's impressed me this tournament. He's been a solid, consistently.
Yeah.
Of
The
course, he
difference
has
between his performance here and
and
Man
Man
United has
United is
been night
crazy.
and
Yeah,
day, man. Yeah.
yeah,
We're seeing a different side of him, man.
yeah.
And
So
I feel like
yeah.
to add to our like Senegalese like squad,
Yeah.
I feel like a youngster that has come up and like that has really impressed me and caught my eye is Eliman Ndiaye. I feel like we've talked about him or we've posted him on one of our posts from last year, but this kid is a 22-year-old, super technical, amazing footwork, and he has amazing ability, and I feel like that's a kid that could potentially leave his mark on this team. Like if I could see last game, he went from not playing first game to subbing on second game to starting the third game.
Yeah.
So that shows you like how quickly this guy is adapting, and even his career. Like I was just reading an article about him, and before 2019. He was playing with Rising Ballers in London, and he was also doing Sunday League. Man, this guy came in 3 years from Sunday League to now he plays in the second division, in the championship with Charlton, and this is somebody that's been progressing super fast. So
yeah, sorry, I think he's with Sheffield.
Sheffield. Sorry,
yeah,
child.
Yeah. Definitely came on, made an impact. I think he got a goal or assist. The assist probably.
I think he might have got an assist. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he got an assist.
But what impressed me with him is that he's technical, and he's not afraid to take his chances. Like it doesn't matter who he's playing. Playing against Ecuador, like he takes his chances. Like this guy.
Yeah.
For a player, he has such like composure, and I feel like this is a player that's gonna go long, and this is a player that's definitely gonna be in the Premier League soon, or any of the top 5 leagues. I feel like we're gonna see him come up soon. Like we're gonna hear news about some young kid coming from the EFL, and I wouldn't be surprised if any of that will happen soon.
Dope. Anything to add? How far do you think Senegal goes in the World Cup, or do you think England is the end of the road for them?
Nah, definitely they have. Man, it's been 20 years since their first appearance. They reached the quarterfinals. Then this time, I'm gonna say they're gonna reach the semis. But hey, let's take it one game at a time, though, man. Like I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah, to be honest, I think it's gonna be too tough a test. Unfortunately. As much as I'm like, obviously, I hope they make it through. But I think
you think it's unrealistic.
Yeah, I think it's just a stretch too far. If it was one of the other teams like a Switzerland or South Korea or something like that, maybe they can throw something at them. But England just seems like
it's gonna be tough. Like even if they go through, let's say like they pass through England, they're gonna face the winners against France or Poland.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So it's gonna be
Even then, it's still it's a tough one.
Yeah.
So why don't we move on then to our next African team, who I think was in Group D.
Tunisia. Right?
Yeah.
Tunisia, man. Tunisia is a team that didn't have a bad run, man. Like they did surprise me against France, because going into it, the first game was a draw they had against Denmark, So I feel like that was pretty solid.
Yeah.
We know that, like, just like in the AFCON, this is a team that doesn't get scored on a lot. Like they play super conservative. But against France, they had to bring the game in the third game, and I feel like I saw a different side of them, man. Wabi Kazri, Tunisian legend, man. Now he's in the history books. Won against France.
Seriously,
that was a great performance, man. And hadn't they lost to Australia in a 1-0 draw, they would have been through.
Yeah, I didn't get to catch the Australia game. I think I was caught up with family time, Thanksgiving stuff, around the time. But I did watch the first game with Denmark, and like I think it would have had they not lost against Australia. I mean, I know they ended up with 4 points anyway because they beat France on the last day. But had they beat Australia and France was in the position that they were, then they would have had like a much better platform to actually try to get a draw or something and make it out of the group. But Australia turned out to be, I think they're one of the teams that like you saw the progression. They just played at the time of recording. They played today against Argentina, and they actually took them all the way to the end of the game. It was a good watch, better watch than I'm sure anyone would have expected. So
definitely,
Australia turned out to be a really
they
good
deserve
team.
to be here, man.
Yeah, exactly. But good on Tunisia. I think them beating France kind of went under the radar. Obviously, France changed a lot of their starting 11 for the game, just same as England. But I think it's a historic victory for them as well. Probably one of the best, like most. Probably like it will probably
especially also given the history of the two countries,
Exactly, yeah.
One being previous colonizer to the other, so that's always that's always something that that people will remember in Tunisia.
So I think it's something to cling on to, something to build upon. I'm sure they'll take that, and I'm sure this is not the last thing we'll see of them.
Another thing that impressed me with Tunisia, by the way, is if you see their lineup, they have a lot of local players, like a lot of players that play in their local leagues. So like that's they have Esperance Tunis. I think one of the defenders plays there, and having local like most of the African teams have European based players, and the fact that Tunisia went in with local players, and they have this kind of performance also shows that they're doing something right in their local leagues, and that's something like I would like to see more of in Africa as well.
Respect to them. Did you were there any players? I can't name any because I didn't watch them in detail enough, but were there any players that stood out to you over the course of the group stages from Tunisia? Other than
it has to be Kazri, man. He's the one that really left a mark. But also what was the player? I think his name is Laiduni. Laiduni. Man, he held it down. I think he also won man of the match, right? Or something in one of the games. Was it against Denmark? Or it might be...
I'm not sure.
I think maybe against Denmark he might have. But that's a player that impressed me from Tunisia. But to be honest with you, Tunisia is also like a very, a team, like they're team oriented. So I feel like it's a team where you don't really see one player shine as much. Other than than Kazri's, like they all kind of fly under the radars. Like they perform well as a team. You don't have these like standout players, I feel like.
So hopefully next World Cup we'll see them back again, and obviously we'll have AFCON in between. So I'm sure they'll be
excited to see what they bring to the table.
All right, so let's move. Why don't we move on to the next?
Who do we have next?
We have Morocco. The winners, the only African winners of their group.
Best African team right now?
I think so, bro. I think so.
Not just on paper, but they got the points to prove it.
Yes, bro. And I think that
only 3 teams had topped their group and finished with 7 points.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. Let's see.
You got England, you got Morocco, and who do we got? Not even Brazil, man.
Netherlands.
Yeah, and the Netherlands, top of the
Crazy.
group.
There isn't one team that won all of the games, which just comes to show.
They said it's the first one since the '94 World Cup.
That's crazy.
In the group stages. This is a super competitive World Cup, man. Like everybody that's here deserves to be here, and I feel like there hasn't been a single dull moment in this World Cup.
Yeah. Other than I've really liked this team, bro. They've like really, really, really impressed me.
It's a deep squad, man. It's even the guys coming off the bench. You have players like Sarabi coming. Sabiri coming off from the bench. Like you got the Toulouse striker coming for En Nasri.
Yeah.
Like and scoring against Belgium. So it's like when one doesn't do it, like one player doesn't do it, you sub them on. Like you got somebody else to come in and make an impact. So it's like this is the kind of team that, and they're super organized and disciplined. That's one thing I saw about Morocco is like they hadn't. The only goal they conceded was an own goal in the last game, but before that, like they haven't conceded a goal in this, and they played against World Cup runners-up Croatia and second FIFA ranked Belgium.
Crazy. Like, I don't think many people
doesn't get any better than this.
Get out the group, and I think they were deserved winners of the group. To be honest, like
definitely,
it was pretty comfortable. But yeah, what I really liked about the Moroccan team is how much like they're organized, but they also have that bite, that hunger. And I think they're actually going to bring the game to Spain, bro. Between Senegal making it through and Morocco making it through, I think for me it's Morocco probably has the better chance.
Against Spain, I would say Spain was a little shaky, man. Like they're not as solid.
Exactly. Yeah. And after the first game, everyone was talking about, Spain might be one of the favorites to win the tournament. But over the course of the group stages, I think we began to see their frailty, like where they can lose out. So,
but with the history, I feel like Spain will still go as like favorites to the world.
Yeah.
Maybe not to Afro, but to the world, I feel like
definitely not here.
Yeah. But I'm really excited for that game, actually, man.
Yeah, I think Morocco is another one of those teams that's pretty well balanced. Like, I think one of the teams that strikes me as always consistently well performers, like no big names, no superstars, is Switzerland. They're balanced throughout the side. They all have good like solid players that play in Europe at a good level. And they're always like, I feel like consistently make it out of the group stages in the World Cup. So Morocco this year looks exactly like that to me. Like everywhere you look, it's like a very solid player. And
I feel like you're gonna see like I can name you at least like I think 3 players or even 4 that are gonna be signed by big clubs from this team, man. Like there was rumors of like I think Amrabat, like a few Premier League sides wanted him. He already plays for Fiorentina, already plays in the top 5, but Premier League teams want him. And I can see Sabiri getting signed by a team, and also what's his name, Abukal, the striker, the Toulouse striker. I feel like I could see him getting signed by a big team as well.
Yeah, I think Amrabat for me has been probably one of their best players, and I think a lot of people are taking notice of him. He's one of the few players that, and I know that World Cup scouting or just like buying players based on World Cup performances isn't like a thing as it was, for example, when James Rodriguez burst on the scene in Brazil. But I'm sure it's not like that anymore. But he's one of those players, and he's also at a club that in Fiorentina who is like they're ready to sell. It just has to be at the right price. So at 26, I think it's a good age for him to make the next step to a big club and make an impact. Yeah, he's looked really good. The West Ham, like the center back Agerd, I don't know how to pronounce his name right. If
the West Ham center back in
the chat, let me know in the comments how to pronounce it properly. But he just got his big move. So
Naif, right? Is it Naif?
Yeah, Naif. Yeah.
Call him by his first name.
first name basis on Afro rooted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got him
Yeah.
in the
They have a
back.
lot of like just solid player. Roman Saiz,
I
who was playing
mean,
at Wolves, now plays
the
at
back four
Besiktas.
is solid.
Bro,
You know,
solid.
you got
And their goalie, the goalie is also solid. He's played at a top level
he plays
for
at
so many
Sevilla,
years.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and their wing backs are probably the best wing backs of the tournament.
You got Bayern Munich and PSG in
bro,
the back.
bro, it's crazy. It's crazy. So,
Yeah.
yeah, they look really good, bro. Ziyech is like a reborn player. I know he's made a bit of a comeback with Graham Potter. So
What are we saying? They're gonna be the fourth ever African team to make it to the quarterfinals.
dude, I'm not putting it past them. If I like, I'm not
You
gonna put
heard
any
it.
money on it. I'm not gonna put any money on it, but
Yeah.
they're coming in. They're coming in with some heat, bro. They looked good. They look solid, and there's no
Yeah.
reason that they can't beat Spain. Spain's last game didn't look so good. If you just break them, press high, break their possession, and pick your moments, I think this team really has the chance to make an impact. They have the right level of like technical ability as well as pace and determination. So there's no putting it past them, bro. These
And
guys
that
are good enough.
they're disciplined. They're a very disciplined bunch too. So as long as they keep their composure, I think they got this, man. And you heard it here first, man. Morocco is gonna be the fourth African team to reach the quarterfinals. If not, they'll go further.
And we're back. Okay, so let's talk about Cameroon next in Group G.
Cameroon, man. The Indomitable Lions. What do we think, man? Not a bad performance from them as well.
Not a bad performance. Another team that had a big last game. Famous for the history books.
Historic win, definitely.
Yeah.
And, Vincent Abubakar took off his shirt, got the red at the end, man. He didn't even think twice.
Yeah, of course. I think that's a brilliant way to end the game.
Yeah, they just needed one goal from Serbia and they would have been through, man. So
I know.
Would have loved to see a third African team.
Yeah. Do you think if we were speaking before the tournament started that you would have had them in your top two? I think.
Who, Cameroon?
Yeah.
A top two for Africans?
For their group. Would they have made it out their group?
To be honest with you, I feel like it was gonna come down for me. I would say it was gonna come down to the Switzerland game because I thought they were gonna lose against Brazil, which crazy thing about this World Cup is I feel like I wasn't worried. I wasn't too worried about Serbia, but I know they're also a good side. With Mitrovic, it's always gonna be tricky, and it was, man, like a 3-3. That was the result, right? Yeah. I wouldn't have, to be honest with you, like I was like 50-50 on them going through, and I would have depended on the Switzerland game, and it did depend on that game. But they also surprised us with the Brazil win. So I feel like it was a great run from them. But one thing I would like to see in that team, I feel like the biggest weakness in this tournament was their transition from offense to defense. I feel like they were just like terrible in that department. Like you just had they allowed a lot of chances, man. Against the Serbia game, like there was at least 3 goals that Mitrovic could have put away, and he didn't. And I'm actually surprised that Brazil didn't exploit that. But they looked really solid in the last game. Like I feel like they did. They managed to fix that issue.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to see them win against Switzerland, but one of their own natives, Mbolo, scored against them. That was a big story, right? It made headlines everywhere.
Yeah, and big for our Afro rooted channel as well. So, and it was nice. It was nice to see. It was kind of touching actually to see him not celebrate after scoring the goal, out of respect for Cameroon. So.
What do you think about his choice for? Obviously we don't know like his story, right? Like, so maybe I think he might have grown up there. He was born in Cameroon, but a lot of something that came like his like situation for me was like, would I like I put myself in issues, and it's like, would you choose to play for, Switzerland or Cameroon? Like, I would get it if it was like a France or like a big side, right? But like Cameroon is like, it's one of the best African teams, so it's like it's not that big of a difference in terms of levels on caliber when you talk about Cameroon and Switzerland, I think.
Yeah, I can't say for sure. I mean, whatever I say probably will be speculating because I can't know what his reasoning was, but there are many reasons. Some players feel like they owe it to the country that they became footballers in. They developed their talent in, and they kind of want to pay it back. And some just feel connected to the country. I heard I think it was the Canadian goalkeeper who was subject to racial abuse by not racial, but to abuse by the Serbian fans because his family fled during, like, he's Serbian, but his family fled during the war. The Serbian Football Federation ended up getting fined for it and whatever. But I saw an interview by him kind of talking about why he chose to play for Canada. And pretty much he was just like, I just want to pay it back. I feel like I owe the Canada a debt. I feel like we are in a tough situation, and the country welcomed us with open arms, and like I feel attached to the country and stuff like that. So there are some players, and I think I think it's important to like understand their position and accept it. And
I hear you, man. It's like you don't know, like, I mean, if you feel like you said, like you always have your roots, but like there's also the fact that your connection, I guess, like with how you feel about it. So I mean, we're just from the outside looking in. So just like you're saying, like if you feel more connected to a country than another, like it does make sense. It's like maybe you haven't grown up and where your roots are, and you don't feel as connected. So that makes sense, right? Like, I mean, but
and at the same time, I mean, Switzerland, they might not be like a superstar country, but we saw Wales reaching the final of the Euros, right? And like Wales isn't like a superstar team either. And Switzerland has good players. Like I mentioned them earlier in the video, where they're just one of those teams that has like they're solid front to back. All of their players are some good solid players. Now some of them might be getting on, like Shaqiri, who plays in the MLS now, but he's still a good player. He's showing it on the stage again.
Zakaria, or what was his name?
Yeah, Dennis Zakaria from the Chelsea player. Yeah. I mean, they have Granit Xhaka, the best midfielder in the world. So
there goes the Arsenal fan.
Nah, like even at the back they have Fabian Schär, who plays for Newcastle. Let me see if I can bring their team up. All of their players. Ruben Vargas is a good player. Remo Freuler has looked good. Manuel Akanji has looked, bro. Like the way he slotted into Man City this season, insane. Akanji. And like, of course, they have a couple of players that are getting on, but they're a good team. They're always going to be. I think they're one of those teams that's like a mainstay in the World Cup. Like they're in every World Cup.
They're consistently making it.
So it makes sense for him to make it, even from like a career point of view, if you take it from that sort of view. But it was a good game. It would have been nice, obviously, if Cameroon at least got a draw from that first game. I think that was the point where it kind of made it hard to see a way back for them. And then like the second game where they came back from 3-1 to make it 3-3, that was like a good game to watch as a neutral. But that's another one where you need the 3 points there. Like you lost your first game. And
Vincent Aboubakar coming on and then just chipping the goalkeeper. I feel like that was
insane. And
it's like, wow.
Yeah, with the offside and everything. It was sick.
That game, I heard people, plus the Brazil goal. I feel like Vincent Aboubakar, this is his last World Cup, and what a way to go, man. Like he's a legendary player now.
Yeah, and I think he probably was getting a bit of criticism with the way he spoke in AFCON about Mo Salah, and like he's like, I don't not fear him, but like I don't respect him that much. I think I'm just as good as him. I think I think he almost kind of backed it up with the tournament. Like, he said it with his chest out, and like he plays good, bro. He's a good football player, and sometimes that happens where, for a lot of players of like African descent or coming from Africa, you have to just catch the right wave. You have to be there in the right place at the right time in order to get the deal that you want, and sometimes it doesn't happen for them. So,
Yeah, that's true.
he's clearly shown that he's class at the at the biggest stage, and yeah, power to him, man. Like, going
He'll
out.
always remember, man. And it's
Yeah.
like these are moments like people remember forever. Like when you say World Cup, you know, like this is what makes it great, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
tournament only happens once every 4 years, and like every time, you know, the World Cup comes around, we always think about previous World Cups. It's like I feel like there's something about it that is just like, you know, there's moments not you don't only remember like the winners, but you also remember certain moments, and that game is going to be remembered not just by Africans but the world as well. So
Yeah.
I feel like he definitely left his mark in history.
Yeah. Did you have any performers other than Abu Bakr that made an impact on you?
I thought Choupo-Moting wasn't that bad. But also a player that really like kind of stood out for me was also Anguissa in the midfield.
Yeah.
I feel like he was good, but I don't know if they had like somebody that really, really like, you know, stood out for me in terms of like, these are just players I'm naming that, you know, I feel like they're good, but also like these are players that of high caliber. So you do expect that from them. But yeah, man, Vincent Abubakar was good. Was the Brentford player, what was his name?
Mbuemo.
Mbuemo.
Yeah.
Mbuemo was decent as well. To be honest, the keeper looked good in the Brazil game as well.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like he had a couple of good saves.
Yeah, and I think that's also something interesting to note. The way that Onana went out of the.
Yeah, that was drama, man.
Yeah.
And also, man, shout out to Rigobert Song, man. Coach he just took over the national team, and
yeah,
he was ex-legend.
Yeah.
Of Cameroon. So I feel like I want to see him build on this team, and I feel like this is going to be a long-term project. It seems like they're following the model that Senegal is building. I feel like that's rubbing off on a lot of African teams. Even the Moroccan national team coach that just got hired just won the CAF Champions League with Al Wydad.
Yeah.
And it's becoming a big trend now where they're just all going local, you know, for local talent. Same with the Ghanaian national team coach. I mean, Otto Addo. He just resigned after the last game, man. But
yeah, I heard. I might be mistaken, but I think he's becoming Dortmund's assistant manager.
Dortmund assistant. Yeah. He was already the assistant there. I think he's just continuing his job there. So he was an assistant Dortmund before. Like he used to be a Dortmund player.
Yeah.
And he was assistant there, and then Ghana brought him from there, and now I guess I feel like who knows, man. Maybe he feels like he has more development to do.
Yeah.
And I respect that decision, but it's gonna be really tough for Ghana now. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good to see. I like seeing more black coaches, dude. I know probably one of the
even we have what's his name? South African legend, man, in Man United. You know, he's what's his name? Benny McCarthy. He's assistant coach in Man United, man. So it's like this trend is like we love seeing this, man.
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard, but Kolo Touré also just took a job recently. I don't want to get it. No. Wait, I don't want to get the job. Wigan. He just took the Wigan job.
Wow. As assistant or main?
No, as the manager, bro.
Wow. No, that's big.
Yeah.
That's big, actually. Yeah. That makes me happy, man.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that real quick because I I like seeing our African brothers become and black brothers and Afro-rooted brothers
like Patrick Vieira, man.
Like Patrick Vieira, bro. That guy he's been killing it, bro, in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out.
It's like, and I want to see these guys. I feel like at one point they might be national team coaches too. Like, who knows? Kolo Toure, after they gain their experience, I really look forward to the future. Like, I want to see them come back to the national team. I want to see the federations make an effort and to try and facilitate for these coaches and trying to build with them too. Because I feel like, if you go like 20 years back, like you had a few African players that played in the big leagues.
Yeah.
But it was still like a development going on. But I feel like now we're at an age where a lot of the players we grew up seeing are now have experienced a lot in the game and are now, retired and in a position where they can coach.
Yeah.
So like the next generation is going to be super lucky in Africa too, because like there's going to be like less and less excuses for us not to make it now, because these legends, I want to see them come back and contribute, build, and because I feel like they have such unique experiences, and I feel like they're in a great position to kind of open up doors for young Africans, because they've been through it. It's like they've been through the tough process. Because I feel like making it out of Africa, like we stress this a lot in our podcast. It's not just about talent, right? If it was just about talent, I feel like we have a lot of raw talent, but a lot comes into play, especially in terms of, getting to be seen, access to even teams, academies. Like only very few African countries have that, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good to see. Shout out to all of the African coaches, and hope to see more of you guys out there making an impact. So
definitely.
Shout out to them. Okay, let's move on to Ghana then. Oto Ado, I think it was the only African team to finish last on their group was Ghana.
Yeah, and they have 3 points with a win. So
yeah,
it's not all losses there, but
it wasn't. But a disappointing end to the
very. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I feel like the last game. I mean, still like when the tournament started, like I did not know what to expect from Ghana, right? Especially such a young team, new team, right? Like a lot.
Yeah, exactly. With the new additions that they added to their team, with Iñaki Williams, Tarek Lamptey. I think was Salisu new. But there are a few guys that they added to the team following the AFCON. And I was excited to see them. I think with Senegal, I think I was more excited to see Ghana than I was to see Cameroon, for example.
They were really entertaining. In the Portugal game, for example, I feel like the results does not do them justice. Of like, I don't think it's reflective of the performance.
Yeah,
I feel like they really went toe to toe against Portugal. With. And Iñaki Williams almost sealed it at the end, man. With, coming from the behind the keeper.
Yeah.
But they play really well, and with Ghana I really wanted to see the Uruguay game end in a win, man. I feel like that's something that a lot of us were looking forward to, and I feel like they chose the wrong penalty taker, man. Like
I was about to say the same thing. I didn't. We didn't.
You could see it in his face, but before
the podcast, someone tweeted out that they picked the one guy on the African team. You saw that? On the Ghanaian team that actually had first-hand experience of the missed penalty from the 2010 World Cup.
PTSD from 2010.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I would have given that to Kudus, man.
Kudus.
Kudus is the most confident African player right now that I'm seeing. I've seen a couple of his interviews and stuff, and like just his character and the way he carries himself.
Yeah,
like it's another level, man. Like, and Kudus is also homegrown talent, man. Like, I think we talk a lot about the Right to Dream Academy in Ghana, and like he comes from a generation where he's gotten everything, like that he needs to succeed, right? Like he's been through the academy in Ghana, and he got selected by their I think the club, the academy owns a team in Denmark, and he went through that process. Like he went to Denmark to that team, and then got selected by Ajax. Same thing with Kamaldeen Sulemana with Rennes, right? So it's like these players, these are like next generation like players. Like they've gone to Europe at a young age, and like they know what the Europeans and what everybody, they've gone what everybody else like got, right? In terms of attention and nurturing, so their talent has been nurtured. So they're mentally they're on another level already. Yeah. So I feel like I would have seen somebody like that take a penalty instead of Andre Ayew.
Yeah. And I think speaking of African talent that made the World Cup their own, I think he's one of the players that lit up the stage. I think despite 100%. Ghana finishing last on their group and probably having one of the worst performances from an African perspective throughout the World Cup. I mean, obviously, as you said, they didn't look. It doesn't. Their final points doesn't reflect what actually happened throughout the World Cup, but he's one of those players that can come out with did come out with a better reputation than he came in with. He's already playing at Ajax. He's having a good season with them, but I think a couple of people have already started reporting that a couple of Premier League clubs have already started he was already linked to Premier League clubs such as Everton in the summer, but they're already starting to reassess. It's
only a matter of time, and basically, I feel like he's gonna have a lot of choices to make. It's not gonna be he's lucky to get picked by a club. Like he's one of the players that's gonna pick and choose which team he's gonna go to.
Yeah, and I hope for him that he doesn't do it in January. I think the market will probably be too small in January. I think that he can wait it out. Everyone has seen that, he's a great talent and seen what he can do. And similar to Cody Gakpo, who decided to stay at PSV until after the World Cup, he's gonna have his pick of clubs following this the World Cup performance. So
another player that really impressed me in the Ghana side is Salisu, man. What a player.
You think so?
Man, dude, I really think so, man.
The pairing of Amartey and Salisu is, for me, is just
But as an individual player, man, Salisu, I mean, even before the World Cup, he's been talked about, and a lot of I feel like Chelsea, a lot of clubs want him, right? The Southampton player. But I feel like he's one to watch for the future, definitely. And I feel like Ghana has a lot to be excited about in terms of building, right? They have something to build from. I feel like after
Salisu is young. He is young. I don't rate him as the best center back probably. Yet I don't think he's a premium, but he's still young. He's still 22, so he has a lot to grow. And I know that he's been linked. I think probably Southampton's a good club for him to. And I think he's building a good partnership with who's the guy that just came there from Man City. He actually made the German team. Bella Kotchap.
Oh yeah.
Salisu and Bella Kotchap look good at Southampton together. So I'd like to. I think he looks better for me at with him as a partner. Maybe it might be Amartey that's holding them back, but I don't know. I was just saying and this is also a problem with the. I think the way the team was set up, the Ghanaian team was set up, was a bit naive. I think they're conceding goals at the wrong time, right after they score or right after they concede. Those are the times that you're vulnerable to conceding.
It's an inexperienced team,
Exactly.
I feel it showed that it's an experienced team. You could, but for what they had, I really wanted to be honest with you, the one thing that really concerns me about Ghana is they need to find a new coach now, because Ato just resigned, and I feel like I wanted to see him like build on that team. Maybe he'll come back in the future. I don't know what his reasoning is, and I don't know if he decided this before going into the tournament or not. But I really did want to see him like build, because I feel like the way he put this team together in such a short amount of time, it was commendable.
Yeah, and I think Ghana like before the World Cup. I was so excited by them because of the number of players that decided to commit to Ghana, and we were having so many conversations about these players. We might not have released. Maybe we should do that in the future, but you know how there's the potential 11. For different countries of players that could have picked to choose different African countries. Ghana really got some of the talent that was out there that wasn't selected. So Iñaki
especially
Williams
Lamptey, man,
and Tarek Lamptey. I mean, they didn't use him as much as I thought they would. I think that coaches are a bit, especially even now, De Zerbi is not using him that much at Brighton, but I think they might think he's too attacking to play as like just a normal fullback. Maybe he might have to play in a back five or
it boils down to the style, right? Like that's also like, because that's something we got to take into consideration, is the style that they have. Like same thing with what happened with Onana and Rigobert Song. Like they had completely different ideas of how to play. That ended up dramatically, but I feel like that's something that comes into factor. Like maybe they don't fit that system, and also they're trying to figure themselves out. So this is a team that's like, they're really testing things out, because they haven't been together long enough to form an identity.
Yeah,
and that's something I feel like they're in the process of doing right now, like is forming that that identity.
Yeah, it's exciting times. I think all of the teams, Senegal, Morocco, Ghana, I think they've put themselves in a position where more players are going to be excited to commit to their African countries, their African heritage. I think it's exciting times to be. AFCON is getting more respect now as well. I'm seeing more articles about AFCON, and especially given the performance of the African teams this World Cup, I think people are going to start paying more attention to our competition, AFCON, as well as our players. So exciting times for all of Africa, and let's see how far Senegal and Morocco can go.
African teams are really making a case for like why we need more spots in the World Cup. Because think about it, like the reason you're only seeing these teams is it's like teams like Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, and even Mali in this qualifiers, the only reason they're not in the World Cup is because somebody has to be out, and it's because there's only like 5 spots. But you put these teams against any of the teams that got knocked out, even including European teams, I feel like they'll go toe to toe, and like they would have performed as well. But it's like the fact that we're only limited to 5 teams, I feel like it's getting old at this point. Like I could have understood why it was like this a few years back, but at this point, I feel like I know they're changing the formats, and we're gonna get a few more countries in there
in the next World Cup.
Yeah, but I like FIFA to reconsider the numbers they're gonna select from Africa. Like I feel like it should be definitely higher. Maybe I would say even take some from Europe. I don't think you should give the Europe more spots in the World Cup, because I feel like this is already at a max for me, to be honest.
Hopefully it's something that we'll see FIFA thinking about and working on in the future, and maybe it's something that we can look into making a video about.
Definitely.
And I just wanted to one more thing. Shout out also. We've been shouting out the players and the teams, but also shout out to the 2 African coaches that made it through. Like I think it's so sick that the two nations that made it through the group stages are managed by
and what a year it's been for the Moroccan coach, man. Like, because
seriously,
he's just won the CAF Champions League, and now he's
seriously,
he's building it up. Like he's building up his profile, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
exciting.
Aliou Cisse, man.
And yeah.
What a coach, man. It's
what a coach. What a coach. What a program. He's been building, bro. He's been building. He's been given time. Shout out also to the Senegalese federation.
The federation, like they see that. I feel like that's the biggest part. Is like they allowed him that time because at first, and before he was coaching this team, he was on the U23 team and the Olympic team, right? So like all these youngsters that have come up from like the young team, like he already knows, right? So that's also what makes Senegal different is like these youngsters have already been working with the coach. So he knows them, man. Like that's something that the Senegalese Federation have facilitated and allowed to happen. So I feel like they should they deserve credit for that. And this is lesson, and like this is gonna be a case study for other African national teams, man. Like this is definitely an example, if anything.
All right. So if you've reached this far in the podcast, thank you for listening. Hope you stay with us. We're gonna be hopefully we keep promising to create more content, but this time it will happen. Make sure to let us know what you think. If is Senegal gonna make it through past England, and is Morocco gonna make it past Spain? Put it in the comments.
Leave us comments, man, and tell us also, what you guys think.
Make sure to like our channel if you like the content. Really helps us grow, puts us in on more people's feeds, and gives us more eyes so we can continue to produce the content that we do. So thank you very much. Thank you, Kana.
Thank you. Well said, man. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for being patient with us. And man, don't forget to subscribe.
All right,
man.